Thanks, Rosemary. Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Anderson, and I'm the program coordinator here for the AT Network. Let me know if for any reason you can't hear me, or if you have a question, feel free to interrupt. I'm going to start out the first half of this training webinar with going over the overview of what Rosemary and I are going to talk about today, and that is, what is assistive technology? So we use the term AT a lot, and we want to just make sure it's clear, what does AT mean? What is assistive technology? And also, who uses AT? We're going to go over, there are so many different types of AT. We're going to go over just a few types to show you some different samples of AT. And then Rosemary's going to take you through the AT Network and the AT Network programs and services that are offered, as well as our website. There's just a wealth of information on our website, so she's going to walk you through some of that and show you some of the resources that are there for you. And finally, how you can contact us. One of my primary responsibilities here at the AT Network is to answer our 1-800 number. And that's available for anyone to call when they have questions regarding AT, and that's from 8 to 5 p.m. We get a lot of calls, so sometimes you have to leave a message and I'll call you back. But it's also a great tool if you're having trouble with the website or with any question regarding AT. We can help you out at that 1-800 number. Okay, so what is AT? What do we mean when we say AT, or assistive technology? Now, AT is any device, gadget, hardware or software used by a person with a disability to do things for themselves that might otherwise be difficult or impossible to do because of their disability. Now, so when we're talking about AT, we're talking about high-tech things like computer software and programs and different equipment, but we're also talking about low-tech gadgets. So we're really encompassing a wide range of, some AT can cost 50 cents and other modified vans are tens of thousands of dollars. So AT really does encompass a wide range of different things. And it's also important, the word independence. We work with independent living centers because AT is used to help people be independent. How does AT promote independence? Some of the things that AT can help someone do, walk, like with a wheelchair or with a walker, or talk. There are many different communication devices that can help people talk. Read, such as screen reading software. Eat, play. Right? There are also social and recreational things that AT devices can allow all people to participate in. Hear, use a computer, cook, and stay living at home. And now we're just going to show you, as I mentioned, there are so many different things that AT encompasses, but just a couple, we're going to go through a couple different devices that maybe you may or may not realize are AT. The first one there you see is a grabber. Now, I don't know how many of you have seen this. There are different extensions on grabbers. They can help reach, these are useful excuse me, for many people. They can help reach and grab items, such as if something falls on the ground or something is stuck up high. They have different extensions. You can get ones with suction cups or different grippers to help reach and grab things. There's a large button TV remote control, and these, both the grabber and the remote control, these are devices you can find even at many drugstores and discount stores. The large button remote control has large, easy to see buttons, and you'll notice it's a little simpler than your typical remote control now with the 200 tiny little buttons that no one can really see. And so, and it's also for people with limited dexterity use. It's easy to hold on to, easy to not accidentally push a different button. Also on there is the vacuum robot, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Roomba or the other brands of vacuum robots. These are wonderful. I have one myself. If you think about someone, for example, in a wheelchair trying to push a vacuum or sweep, you're talking about a lot of work. And so, even having a vacuum that you can turn on when you leave and you come back and your floors are clean and that dust is gone is really an amazing and very, very helpful thing. Sorry. Okay. AT for deaf or hard of hearing. There are things like the Super Shaker vibrating alarm clock. This costs around $30, and it shakes. You can put it right next to your bed or even in your bed, and it vibrates and shakes for the alarm. So if you're hard of hearing, this will help wake you up. There's also flashing lights, many different kinds of alarm clocks rather than your typical buzzing noise. Next to that is the door knock sensor, and that has a bright flashing light. There's different sensitivity levels on it, so it doesn't just go off all the time. It's also just around $30, so that's great for hard of hearing or deaf, so that you can hear if someone's at your door. The caption telephone, this is a sample caption telephone from CapTel. So you can type in your messages. There are many different adaptations as well. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with California Telephone Access Program or Deaf and Disabled Telecommunications. We refer a lot of people in California to this wonderful program because you can get actually a free phone if you're a resident of California. And all you need to do is fill out an application and get a doctor's note that describes that you have a disability. And some of the phones for hard of hearing, you can get amplified sound. You can also get captioned telephones. There are just, probably 20 to 30 different phones and adaptations that you can get. And it's, as I mentioned, it's totally free. Okay, here are a few examples of AT for blind or low vision individuals. On the left we have the Braille Sense Plus Note Taker and MP3 player, and talking watch and a full page magnifier. So the Braille Sense actually can be hooked up to a computer. You can take notes with Braille, or also it takes audio notes as well, so you can listen. If you're, let's say, sitting in school at a lecture, you can record it. You can also take your own notes while it's recording. So that's really great, and play it back. Now that little piece of equipment is really sophisticated, and that runs about $5,000 or $6,000. Now, on the other hand, the talking watch that's right next to it is about $25, and that announces the time out loud, in so you don't have to see the numbers, but you can still wear a small watch on your wrist. The full page magnifier, it comes with several different sheets, magnifying sheets, and they only run about $5 each. And it's very light and portable, so you can take it with you to places if you're going to the doctor's and you want to make sure you're reading everything that they give you, or you're going to any office. You want to make sure that you're able to see and read if you have low vision. Bringing along, there are little magnifiers that also work that you can just put in your pocket, but even this full page one, as I mentioned, is only $5 and can greatly help people. Okay, moving on to home modification solutions. Now, as you can see, probably most of you are familiar with the stair lift. Oftentimes we get people who live in two-story homes, and then for a variety of different reasons are unable to access the second story of their home. And other than moving, what else, or installing an elevator, which would be impossible, there are stair lifts that people can use, and as well as the ceiling lift in the center. You can see there's a gentleman in the ceiling lift. This makes it a lot easier to transport an individual from the bed into the bathroom. You can, I've seen certain homes that have this ceiling lift throughout different areas of the house as an easier way for people to get around their own home. And the last one is a portable ramp, which, as you can see, you can use a portable ramp. This is an item that we have in many of our device lending libraries, and it's very popular. Especially if you want to get a ramp, but building a ramp is expensive. Here's a portable solution that you can use. You can see it over the stairs. You can also use it, depending on the length, into a vehicle. So those are just some samples of a couple different home modification solutions. Okay, communication aids. There are a wide variety, as I mentioned, of communication devices that help people communicate. And this can be for people of all ages. Children to seniors can find themselves in need of communication devices. Now, a really popular new one right now is used, a lot of them are used for the iPad. And there are just so many different communication devices. Some even are free apps that you can get for your iPad or for your Android or for your iPhone or for a laptop. Other ones cost a little more. And this is one of the things that we can help kind of figure out and try out different communication devices. The iPads are another really popular item that we have in our device lending libraries, loaded with many different apps so you can try out, because obviously if you're going to invest in an iPad to use as a daily communication device, you want to make sure that that's what's going to work for you. So we encourage people to try them out before purchasing. There's also I skipped the wearable messaging and communication aid. This one actually has, it's really neat. It has, you can record, I think, 7 different messages with each of those little symbols can record, I think, about 60 seconds of a message. So it's great for people with memory issues, for students as reminders of what they're to be working on. It's really compact and portable, so it's easy to carry around, put around your neck. Yeah. Let's see. And the Quick Talker as well helps. It's a highly sophisticated microphone headset that you can connect to different devices, and it has really high voice recognition. So if you're using something that is, it cancels out all the other sound, and if you're using something that needs voice recognition, it isolates your voice. So if there's some sort of software, some softwares are voice recognition, and it's easier if you have background noise or something to be wearing one of these headsets so that it can hear and do what you want it to do. Okay. Moving on. Now, computers, there are just so many different adaptations that you can have for computers. These are just a couple different ones, even talking about your workstation and the desk and the keyboard you use. There are keyboards that are better for vision impairments, such as the yellow and black keyboards. There are black and white. There are different visual problems that you want to think about if you're having trouble seeing the keyboard. And how about the mouse? There's a big trackball on there. Many different kinds of mouse equipment that you can use. There are devices that you can navigate with your head. There's a device you can navigate with your feet instead of using your hand. There are now touch screens are becoming much more popular as well as a way to navigate. You see a CCTV magnifier on there as well. That obviously magnifies the text. And yeah, and then there's, and on your computer or your iPhone or your tablet, there are many different softwares that you can use, such as the next one, Dragon software. Now, many of you probably are familiar with the Dragon software, or possibly the note-taker reading pen. Those are just two sample items of helpful software. And the Dragon, so you can basically, what it does is types what you say out loud. So when I was talking about the voice recognition headset, that would be an example. That would be useful, having a mic right by your face, so right by your mouth, so that the program Dragon, as you speak, then it will type out what you're saying into a Word document or whatever program you're using. There are also different learning devices for children. You can see the Etch-a-Sketch, popular children's toy, and it's adapted with switches so that, if you can't turn those little knobs, you can use the bigger switches. You can see the arrows on there, as well as the talking coinulator, teaching about money, and it speaks out loud to you. Okay. Here are some mobility and recreational aids. The rollator, you can see on the left, it's kind of a cross between a walker and a wheelchair. It's a really neat device. They run around $100 to $200, and it can be used as a walker, but then as you can see, it has a seat in it. So you can use it to walk, but then also, you know, sit down if you need to rest. And it also is really compact and transportable, and it folds up. So it's lightweight, easy to carry around. The next thing is a crocheting and embroidering aid. So that is it actually, you can see where the needle is pointing, it clamps on to a table, or it can clamp onto any hard surface, which can help someone, you know, keep it stable, keep the device stable so that they can crochet. There are so many different recreational aids, you know, not having time to go over all of them right now, but just would encourage you, anyone, something that you like to do, you know, there probably is some AT that can help you do that if you're no longer able to do that. Crocheting, such as my mother has rheumatoid arthritis and lupus, and it's difficult now for her. She loves to knit, but it's difficult. But we found some knitting tools that were easier to grasp for her than the slippery metal ones. And so anything that you want to do, most likely there's some way that we can figure this out. Or if it hasn't been invented yet, then it should be. And I've met a lot of people that have, you know, patented and come up with their own ideas. I spoke to a golfer the other day that lost some grip in his hand. He had a stroke, and he was developing some different golf clubs that would work for him. The last on the right, you can see playing card holders, and those obviously hold the cards there. They also hold, you know, pencils and pens and mahjong tiles, and hold whatever you need, whatever kind of game you're playing. And there's also some larger cards you can get. If your vision isn't quite what it used to be, you can get the larger print cards too. It's just another example. And the last example that we're going to talk about AT are vehicle modifications. Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta put this forward. Vehicle modifications and adaptive driving aids. So you can actually see on the left there that that's a portable ramp as well. That was about $200. At one of our centers, they're putting a scooter into the van using that portable ramp that just folds up, and it's flat and can stay right there in the van. Versus there are lifts, you know, that you can get in your van for in the back or the side to go in directly with a wheelchair or scooter. There's also a variety of different steering and gas and brake pedals that you can get to modify for your vehicle, and these are great. They don't they usually fit into almost any car, not any car, but and they don't impact the other car. So if someone needs to use the steering spinner knob, then you know, you're sharing a car with someone else, you don't even need to take that off. It still works with the foot pedals as well. So a lot of different vehicle modifications that are available as well. And so all of these things are the kind of things that we help you at the AT Network. We help you find, you know, if there happens to be funding available for something, we help find that. If not, we can definitely find places in your local area, if there are, that sell these devices, or, you know, just kind of give you the information that you need to make the decisions of what AT you want to try or what AT is right for you. And before I switch off to Rosemarie, who's going to talk much more about the things that we offer, does anyone have any questions about what AT is? No? Okay, well, thank you, and I will be here if anyone thinks of a question, or you can always reach me at the 1-800 number as well. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to more about the AT network. How many of you are familiar or have heard about AT network? If you could click on the green check for yes, or use the chat box to enter. Okay, looks like majority of you are familiar with the AT network or heard about AT network. Okay, the AT network is a hub, and it's a project of the California Foundation for Independent Living Centers. The AT network it's a federally funded Tech Act project, and we receive funding through the state, which is coordinated by the CFLC. And in case you have not heard about the California Foundation for Independent Living Centers, or CFLC, it's a statewide nonprofit organization that's made up of 25 independent living centers. So there's independent living centers throughout the state of California, and its mission is to support independent living centers in their local communities through advocating for systems change and promoting access and integration for people with disabilities. Later on, we'll do a live tour of the AT network, so I'll take you to the CFLC's website just so that you know where to go to learn more about the CFLC. The AT network's membership has over 200 members, and the membership includes disability community members and consumers. We have educators as well as the AT consultants. We have occupational therapists, physical therapists, and other healthcare professionals. As I mentioned earlier, that the AT network is a project of the CFLC, and each of the independent living center, each of them has its own AT advocate, and the AT advocates that are also part of the AT network, what they do is they work with consumers by advocating as well as providing some resources that are out there that has to do with low-tech, high-tech, assistive technology, funding, that kind of resources. As I mentioned, the AT network is funded as a Tech Act project, and with the funding that we receive, there are a variety of AT network services that we provide, and each of the service provided here, I will walk you through the AT network's website. One of the resources that we provide or service is the AT exchange, the reuse collaboration, the information and referral. The information and referral is the one that Rachel Anderson, who is the program coordinator, she oversees the information and referral. As like she said earlier, she is responsible for the 800 toll-free number, where you, yourself, or your consumer, or just anybody that would like to know more about AT network or is in need of some kind of an AT device and needs help with locating, the organization or vendor to help with what they need. We also provide trainings, which I'll talk about later in detail as I'm going through the live tour of the AT network website. The trainings, what we do is we provide, it's an annually training that we provide, and samples of the training can be AT 101 Basics. And this webinar, what is AT And AT Network Services is an example of the AT 101 training that we provide. We also provide AT in-depth trainings, and for example, the AT in-depth can be more about like AT exchange, like how to search for devices, how to create an account. We also have quarterly trainings throughout the state of California, and it's either in northern region, Southern California, or in central region. Those meetings are in person, and we invite everyone who is interested, including occupational therapists, physical therapists, AT professionals, educators, families, and the purpose of our in-person trainings is to, what we do is we invite a presenter who's an expert in a specific area, like education, for example, iPads or apps for iPads, assessments, or just like a demonstration of any kind of a hardware or software. It's a great opportunity to network and collaborate with your peers. Resources, we provide resources such as the AT Services Directory, which is a database that has over, I would say, over 3,000 resources, which includes vendors, organizations that provide, funding or services, which I will walk, through the AT Networks website how to get to the AT Services Directory. And last, we have the collaboration and membership. This collaboration and membership, we have two AT Network listservs that one you may be part of, which is the AT Network listserv. What we do is we send out a blast, which could be about upcoming trainings, not just for AT Network, but for other organizations who are also hosting the webinars or events that relates to people with disabilities as well as technology. We also have job opportunities that may be posted on the AT Network listserv. There's another listserv that we operate, which is the AT Announcements, and the AT Announcements is only used for members who only want to receive announcements such as upcoming trainings and or events. And the membership is absolutely free. The benefits of becoming an AT Network member is, as I mentioned about the AT Network listserv, there's training on a variety of assistive technology issues. There's network opportunities. You have access to the AT Services Directory, and you have the ability to add listings. So, for example, if there's a resource that is not listed on the AT Services Directory, you can add the resource by filling out the online form. The benefit for part of the membership is also you can attend an in-person meeting, whether you're located in the northern, or the central region of California. You also have access to the archived trainings. We have a listing of archived trainings from our previous years, and it's closed captioned. Also, it's available on YouTube channel. And it's you can access the archived training anywhere, any location, whether at home, at school, or at work, as long as you have access to internet and, of course, a computer to be able to view the archived trainings. There's also technical assistance for organizational. Before I move on to the next slide, are there any questions about the AT network? Okay, no questions. Okay, what I'm going to do is I am going to take you to a live tour of the AT Network's website. This is our AT Network's website, and the URL is atnet.org. And the AT Network is, its website is very resourceful, and it's a very interactive website that has tons of resources there. And I will walk you through each of the tabs just to kind of give you an idea of what the section is, and as well as the AT Exchange and the California Reuse Coalition. So the first tab is the Law and Advocacy. The Law and Advocacy is where you will learn more about the AT laws, your rights, and how to advocate for your needs. Examples of the section that you can learn about law and advocacy is federal AT laws. You can learn more about, in depth about the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, or if you're in the education field, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA. You can also learn more about the state AT laws like the Medi-Cal, the Lanterman Act, the AT Department of Rehab, AT and California's regional centers. You can also learn more about your rights, such as the health care, employment, education, and housing. And then for those of you that are new to AT and want to learn a little bit more about AT, there's also a glossary of terminology, who uses assistive technology. The next tab is the how-to section. There's going to be a little bit of a delay, maybe 1 to 2 seconds delay, so I apologize for that. Just hopefully you can see as I'm moving the mouse. The how-to section is, this is where you'll learn how to find the right devices for your needs. The how-to is a great resource because you can, we have real-world device demos. For example, we've interviewed individuals with disabilities, and what they would do is they would demonstrate how they use their AT as an everyday life to become independent. We also have success stories that talks about, or that has videos for individuals who've had success using assistive technology device. The next section is Find It Now. And Find It Now, this is where you will find new or used devices, funding, repairs, training, advice, and assistance. There's resources such as blind and low vision, computer, deaf and hard of hearing, emergency preparedness. You can also find the AT Services Directory, which I will walk through shortly. There's also the AT Exchange, which I will talk briefly, and the Reuse Coalition. The next section is the news and events. Here, this is where you'll stay informed about the latest AT news and the AT Network trainings and other events. For our upcoming AT Network events, if you're interested, the news and events page is where you will go to and click on calendar. And this is where you will find a listing of the upcoming AT network events and trainings. If you scroll down, you can actually independently navigate the website by scrolling, just so you know, in case you're interested. If you scroll down, there's a listing of the upcoming webinars. And then also we have other organizations that have, that are hosting webinars or events are also listed on this calendar and events page. If you have an event that's coming up, or if you know an event that's coming up, it would be a good, a good resource to add to our AT Network's calendar and events page. You're more than welcome to do that by filling out the form. It's called Submit an Event. And once you click on Submit an Event form, there is a form that you need to fill out. If you fill out as much as information, it would be good. And it is one of our AT Network staffs reviews the event being submitted before we post to the actual calendar of events page. So going back to the calendars page, there's also, let's see what else. There's organizations that have webinars that's about education, such as the apps for iPads or iPods, accessible instructional materials, and let's see what else. So this is a great way to visit our calendars for upcoming webinars. Okay, the next resource that we provide, or service that we provide, is the AT Exchange. How many of you are familiar or have heard about AT Exchange? If you can click on the green check for yes, or if you could type in the chat box. Okay, so it looks like some of you are not familiar with the AT Exchange. The AT Exchange is a free service, and it's a way for AT Network that we connect Californians to, for individuals with disabilities who need the AT devices or AT device so that they can live independently. And the AT Exchange, the features about this is you can borrow devices to try. So for example, if you have a consumer or yourself, if you are going through an assessment and you know how devices such as or so software and or hardware are very expensive, the AT Exchange is a great start to begin with, finding low cost or free devices to try. You can also find used devices for free or low cost. You can sell used devices. For example, I had a friend whose father, who recently passed away and had a wheelchair and no longer uses the wheelchair. My friend wanted to donate the wheelchair, so she actually posted to the AT Exchange as an ad where somebody who is in need of a wheelchair, they could contact her. The AT Exchange, there are 13 device lending libraries. So for example, we have centers who are part of the device lending library. Is also a program that has devices where you can borrow borrow for, to try for like a 30-day period or so. So if I click on the advanced search, and this is, we are constantly updating our AT Exchange, so there's going to be some improvements and you will notice some changes, but if you wanted to search for a device, you can either use, which is the advanced search, which you can enter or have multiple selections to narrow down your research. Or you can use a simple search, which is where you can type your item search and or select a category. So for example, I'll use an example to search for a relator. So the listing results comes up with a listing of the relators that are available depending on which program or device lending library has the relator. And it'll give you, like, there's 15 items found for relators that are available. The AT Exchange, you can sign up or you can request a new account if you are interested in adding a device or posting an ad, or if you want to give away a device, if you want to sell, you want to have an account. And to do that, at the AT Exchange homepage, the login section, which is located to the left of the AT Exchange website, there is a request a new account under the login section. And this is the request a new account form that needs to be filled out. Once you've filled out all the required fields, you want to make sure that you checkbox the I agree and or I do not agree. Once you select I agree and create the account, you will receive an email confirmation with the login information. Any questions about the AT Exchange? Okay, no questions. Moving on to the California Reuse Coalition. This is another service or resource the AT Network provides. The California Reuse, or the California Assistive Technology Reuse Coalition, which is the abbreviation for CATRC. And the CATRC supports organizations that accept and give out donations of assistive technology and durable medical equipment in their communities for free or low cost. The Reuse Coalition, it also uses the AT Exchange website to, you can find used devices, sell, and give it. So it connects with the AT Exchange. The Reuse Coalition is actually a coalition of members who come together and either in person, usually they have like, a year annual meeting, or they meet online in a webinar platform, and it talks about the reuse issues and ways to, they think of creative ways of how to increase more awareness about reuse throughout the state of California. And we have an AT Network staff who oversees the reuse, and her name is Shannon Coe, which we have a contact list towards the end of the webinar that provides the contact information. Moving on to the social media, we have an AT blog, and the AT Network staff, and as well as members or anybody, can post anything that relates to technology and people with disabilities. And recently we have an AT blog post about disasters like earthquakes, and it talks about ways to prepare yourself in case of the event of an earthquake. So if you are more than welcome to, if you have an article that you think that would be great for an AT blog post, you can send it over to Rachel Anderson. who is a program coordinator. And if you would like to receive the AT blog, you can subscribe by entering your email address, and you will get a email confirmation that you've been accepted to receive the AT blog. It's a great way, you know, in case if you don't have any other social media accounts like Facebook and or Twitter, AT blog is also, it's an alternative way to receive the latest news about the AT network. The AT network has a Facebook page, and Rachel Anderson also oversees the Facebook page. Not only she posts, but we have other staff that post announcements, videos, and other resources from other organizations that relates to what we do and what you do, you know, when you work in the field of people with disabilities. If you have a Facebook account, and if you have not yet liked our AT network page, please do. We want as many likes as we want as possible. Next, we have the AT Network's YouTube channel. This is where we have a listing of the archived trainings from the previous years, and it is archived as well as closed captioned to provide you more access to in case if you need closed captioning. We have over probably, I would say, 30 archived webinars that are posted on this YouTube channel. As I mentioned earlier, you can access the archived trainings anywhere. So if you have a mobile device, such as an iPad, iPod, or an Android, and you can access the YouTube video from your device, and it can be accessed anytime. Any questions about what I've talked about in terms of the social media, the California Reuse, the AT Exchange, and the AT Networks services or resources? Our contact information here, the AT Network is located in Sacramento. I myself, Rosemary, is located in Southern California, and for those of you folks that are in the Southern California, feel free to contact me directly for any questions about the AT Network, including the trainings. Our AT Network's toll-free information and referral is 1-800-390-2699, and that is the 800 number that Rachel Anderson oversees. Also, there's a TTY 800-900-0706. And this is our listing of the social media, and to stay connected, we have the AT blog where you can subscribe by putting your email address. We have our Facebook page. You can like our page to receive the latest post about news, videos, upcoming events, or how-tos. And then we also have the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel, if you do not have to subscribe to receive an email about, like, if the new archived webinar has been posted, it's optional. But it's recommended to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can receive an automatic email with the new post. Okay, there was a question from Karen Crow. Is shipping included in the AT lending library? Okay, and Alan just answered the question. Yes, Karen, we do ship items. Yes, yes, Karen. So we do ship the items, and it is included in the shipping. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alan, because I know it varies by the device lending library or the reuse center.
Yeah, it is. It depends on the item and the policy at the center, but most of the centers do ship items to people who aren't able to get to their center.
Great, thank you. Any other questions?
Who pays for shipping? And it's usually paid for by, in part by the center that's shipping it and in part by the person who's receiving it. They have the option to, if a consumer can't afford to pay for the return, then the center might pay for it round trip, but we usually ask the recipient to pay for the shipping back.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you for responding to Karen's question, and you're welcome, Karen. Karen, as I mentioned earlier, the AT Exchange website, feel free to visit the website for additional information, or you can contact the AT Network for additional questions. Thank you, everybody, for your participation.